All right, good afternoon, students. Okay, I'm gonna send you this video in order to explain do and does as an auxiliary verb, because that is the grammar on the unit 3. It's present simple. Okay, it's very simple. We're gonna do this way because for obvious reasons we cannot see each other at the school. Okay, so first I'm gonna start by saying that there are two kinds of verbs: action verbs and auxiliary verbs. Now, action verbs are all the actions you do: play, study, watch, wash, do, and box. These verbs function as an action. And the auxiliary verbs have the function of helping the main verb or the most important verb in the sentence. Okay? Now, there are verbs that have a double function. For example, do, here's an action verb, but we're going to use do as an auxiliary verb. Now, we're going to concentrate on do as an auxiliary verb. There are two rules. Do as an auxiliary verb has no translation. You have to use it in questions and in negative answers. Okay? Now, I'm going to explain when to use do and when to use does. We're going to use do with I and you, we and they. And I'm going to use does with he, she, it. All right? Let me repeat that. For I and you, we're going to use do. For he, she, it, we're going to use does. And for we and they, we're going to use do. Okay. Now, in previous sessions, your teacher explained that when you're going to make a question, you have to switch the verb to the beginning of the sentence and close your sentence with a question mark. For example, this is my pen. That is a sentence, all right? Now, you switch the verb to be to the beginning and you have your question. Is this my pen? Close it with a question mark. But in the case of do and does, we're not going to apply that rule. Why? Because it's going to be grammatically incorrect if you place the verb at the beginning. You cannot say play you soccer. That is completely incorrect. You're going to be making no sense, and the person you're telling it to is going to be all confused. So what you got to do is, instead of switching the verb to the beginning, we're going to use do. Why do? Because do is the correct form of the auxiliary verb to use with the pronoun you or I, right? Now, who am I asking here? It's like if I ask you, hey, do you play soccer? What do you answer? Yes or no, right? So it's common sense. So, do you play soccer? Yes, I do. That's a short answer. There are four ways to answer that. Yes, I do. That's a short answer. Or no, I don't. That is a short answer, but in a negative form. Or yes, I play soccer, which is a complete answer, right? And no, I don't play soccer, which is a complete negative answer. Now, what is don't? That's a contraction, okay? A contraction of do not. Sorry, I forgot the T. I hope you understand my letter. All right. So don't is a contraction for do not. So you can answer no, I don't play soccer. No, I do not play soccer. Or no, I don't. No, I do not. And it is correct. Okay. Now, seeing that you paid a lot of attention, you were really good students, we are going to complete this exercise. Any ideas of how to do it? Instructions. Write a question using the following sentences, or for the following sentence, write all the possible answers. Just like my example, you're going to make a question with this sentence. They watch TV. So, if you're really smart, which I think you are, tell me how to begin your question. With what word, per se? There you have it. There's a hint. Am I gonna use does? No. I'm gonna use do because they right here corresponds to do. So do, then do they, forget to point the camera, watch TV. Do they watch TV? 4 possible answers, just like this one. Okay? All right, that is for do. And we're finished with that one. In the next days, I'm gonna send you not a video, but a document using this group, taking advantage of this opportunity, where you have to complete. All right. Now I'm gonna explain the use of does. Is the same rules apply in everything? It's just that does is a little bit different and it could be a little bit more complicated. So pay close attention. All right. We said that for I and you, we use do. For he, she, it, we use does. And for we and they, we use do. But in this case, we're gonna concentrate on these 3 guys: he, she, it, in the third person of the singular, which are gonna be a pain in the neck because they are always different than all the other pronouns. All right, they're different. Okay. Now I'm gonna start by using example sentence. For example, he studies English. Now notice that the verb study is written like this in its original form, but here we're conjugating it. Okay, we're eliminating the y and we're replacing that y for an I, and we're writing es. So the correct form of this is not a question, I'm sorry, let me erase that question mark. This is a sentence. Okay, he studies English. It's just an example sentence. Now how do I make this a question? Now we're gonna use does, obviously, because does is the auxiliary verb that corresponds to the pronoun he. He studies English. Now, question, does he study English? Now notice that study is not conjugated anymore. We don't have IES. Why is that? Because we have the auxiliary present in the sentence. Now, when you have the auxiliary present in a sentence, all right, you're not going to conjugate the verb. But if it is not present in the sentence, then you are going to conjugate it. For example, here in this sentence, do you see does anywhere? No, does is not in the sentence. That is why the verb is conjugated. So imagine it like this. The auxiliary does is right here. This is it. It's transformed into IES. Okay? Now, I don't mean to confuse you. If you get confused with that comment, then just go with the auxiliary present and don't conjugate. The auxiliary is not present, then conjugate. All right? All right. Does he study English? Yes, he does. There is your auxiliary, but it's a short form. No, he doesn't. There's your auxiliary, but it's a short form. Yes, he studies English. There is no does here. There's no auxiliary verb, so the verb has to be conjugated as in your first sentence. Okay. Yes, he studies English. Or no, he doesn't study English. See, here we didn't conjugate study. Why? Because we have does present. Same thing happens here. And this answer is conjugated. The verb is conjugated because we do not have does present. Got it? All right. Now, if you pay close attention,